Working on a timing belt on I think it's a 2000 daewoo Lanos. Let me show you the timing belt procedure here real quick. So on the daewoo Lanos, which is the 1.6 liter engine, it is an interference engine. I have confirmed that it needed a valve job. We took the cylinder head off, inspected all the valves, and had to replace 5 intake valves. All the other valves checked out. Then we used lapping compound and ended up putting them back in. So, got a new timing belt for it, put the head back on, new head gasket and everything like that. So now we're getting it timed back up. There was a little bit of confusion on where the timing marks and stuff go because there's no reference points on the timing cover, valve cover, or anything like that that tell you where the marks go and stuff. And there isn't really a whole lot of technical information and or books out there. So what you need to do is you need to take those two marks and you need to line them up so that way they're pointing right towards each other like that. And that's basically how it goes. For the topside timing marks on the cam, the left side's the exhaust and it's marked with the left side's the intake, which is marked with an I, which is right there. That one's marked with an I, and the opposite side is marked with an E on it. Right there. So you gotta make sure that those cams are lined up. If you do end up taking it apart, those two need to be lined up properly. As you can see, here's the direction and the engine's pointing. And you'll need to make sure that when you put the new timing belt on there, that you line up the crankshaft mark with that arrow and that notch right there. That mark groove piece a little bit better there. So that's the part that needs to line up, and you can see it in the actual pan itself. Another thing that you'll need to do is, in order to adjust everything properly, there's going to be that timing belt tensioner, and there's going to be a little mark in there that needs to line up properly back in through there. And you'll see that there's a little lip on both sides that they need to line up with, so that way tensioner and stuff like that is on there properly. You don't want any slack over here on the side. Also, you'll need to install a new water pump, because that's how you actually tighten and loosen the timing belt on this. You'll need a water pump, wrench, and put it by hand so that we can rotate it around and get it in position to where you need it. So, then you want it nice and tight on there after the fact there. So it's good and tight. So that's basically how you put the timing belt on this car here. And now we're going to go ahead and put the timing case back on and everything like that, and the pump goes here and stuff like that. So it's kind of a little process to get in there and get that case off, and the pump and all that other stuff, the power steering pump and that kind of thing. This case, the timing case back plate, does need to come off in order to get the water pump out and do that. There's 3 bolts for this idler, or the tensioner pulley right here, and then there's just the 1 bolt there, which is just the idler pulley right there on that side. So that's basically how you do it. Lined up or not is you get the crankshaft on TDC, which this piston here is going to be all the way to the top. And as you can see, the engine rotates clockwise, so the cam lobe on the intake side over here is just about ready to be ready to push down on the intake valves. So that one's lined up ready to go because it's at TDC with the timing marks and everything. And then on the exhaust side, you can see the cam lobe is already closed. So it's just got done doing the exhaust, which the exhaust is the last stroke. So you can see cam lobe. Let's see, you can see the cam lobe a little bit better here. So basically the cam lobe on the exhaust side has just finished. So you check it for the cam lobes, stuff like that, to see if they're lined up properly, and with the the crankshaft and that kind of thing. So that's one thing to keep in mind on the first cylinder. Timing belt back on, everything back together. Pulled it out of the shop, and now it's raining out. So we'll go ahead and show you how it runs after everything's been put back together here real quick. Okay, let's crank her up. Of course, I've already started it and ran it in and stuff because the valves were bent and it was taking gasoline and everything else in for so long. It took a little while to run it in, drive it around, get it back up to par to where it'll idle right and run properly. That's some of the things you might run into. It's going to take just a little bit to get it back up and running if it's been sitting a while with the valves bent and that kind of thing. And there we have it, a nice smooth running engine.